The cinematic landscape of 2019 was graced by a film that dared to look at the machinery of war not through the sights of a rifle, but through the sharp, unforgiving lens of a mathematician's compass. Takashi Yamazaki's The Great War of Archimedes is a magnificent anomaly in the genre of historical drama, a film that weaponizes geometry and turns the act of estimation into a high-stakes psychological thriller. It begins with an ending, a visceral and haunting depiction of the sinking of the IJN Yamato in 1945, a sequence that serves as a grim memento mori hanging over the entire narrative. This opening provides the necessary weight for the intellectual battle that follows, ensuring that every calculation made by our protagonist is underscored by the silent screams of thousands drowning in the Pacific. By showing us the ultimate failure of the unsinkable steel colossus first, Yamazaki transforms a bureaucratic struggle into a desperate race against a preordained apocalypse. The heart of the story beats within the eccentric chest of Tadashi Kai, played with a frantic, obsessive energy by Masaki Suda. Kai is a mathematical prodigy, a man who sees the world as a series of interconnected equations and who cannot resist the urge to measure every object he encounters, from a common tape measure to the curves of a luxury ship. He is a pacifist by nature, or perhaps more accurately, a man of pure logic who finds the irrationality of war distasteful. When he is recruited by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto to investigate the suspicious cost estimates for a proposed super battleship, Kai finds himself thrust into the viper's nest of the Imperial Japanese Navy's high command. This is not a film about dogfights or trench warfare. It is a film about the violence of the ledger and the lethal power of a doctored invoice. The narrative structure mimics a ticking clock, as Kai is given only 2 weeks to reverse engineer the costs of a ship that has not yet been built. This setup provides the film with a propulsive energy that is rare for a historical period piece. We watch as Kai and his loyal assistant, the steadfast Second Lieutenant Tanaka, navigate a labyrinth of naval politics and industrial secrecy. The film excels in making the mundane act of drafting blueprints feel like a duel to the death. When Kai stands before a chalkboard, chalk dust flying like smoke from a cannon, the audience is invited into the ecstasy of discovery. We feel the weight of the steel and the tension of the rivets through the sheer force of his mathematical deductions. Yamazaki's direction ensures that the audience understands the stakes. If Kai fails, the Navy will pour its resources into a symbol of vanity that will lead the nation to its doom. Opposing Kai is the formidable Rear Admiral Hirayama, the architect of the Yamato, portrayed with a chilling, quiet dignity by Min Tanaka. Hirayama is not a simple villain. He is a man of profound vision and dangerous patriotism. The conflict between Kai and Hirayama is a clash of two different types of genius. Kai represents the purity of objective truth, while Hirayama represents the seductive power of a national myth. As the film progresses toward the final meeting of the Technical Council, the tension reaches a fever pitch. This boardroom climax is one of the most riveting sequences in modern Japanese cinema, proving that a well-placed variable in an equation can be more explosive than a torpedo. The revelation of the Hirayama formula and Kai's subsequent debunking of it is a masterclass in screenwriting, turning technical jargon into a weapon of mass destruction. However, The Great War of Archimedes saves its most profound and unsettling twist for the final act. Just as Kai believes he has saved the nation from its own hubris, he is confronted with a terrifying logic that transcends simple mathematics. The conversation between Kai and Hirayama in the film's closing moments shifts the movie from a historical thriller into a philosophical tragedy. Hirayama reveals that he knows the ship is a folly, but he believes that Japan will never accept defeat unless it has a symbol grand enough to die for. The Yamato is reimagined not as a weapon of victory, but as a funeral pyre for an entire era. This realization shatters Kai's world. He learns that even the most perfect equation cannot account for the suicidal impulses of a nation gripped by militaristic fervor. The aesthetic of the film is a seamless blend of meticulously reconstructed 1930s Japan and state-of-the-art CGI. The naval vessels are rendered with a tactile reality that makes the opening disaster all the more harrowing. The costumes, the smoke-filled rooms, and the rhythmic clacking of typewriters create a dense atmosphere of impending dread. The score, composed by Naoki Sato, complements the visual grandeur with a mix of militaristic pomp and melancholic reflection, mirroring the internal conflict of a protagonist who is helping to design the very thing he fears most. It is a film that demands to be seen on a large screen, not just for the spectacle of its ships, but for the vastness of its moral landscape. In conclusion, The Great War of Archimedes is a haunting meditation on the relationship between science, art, and destruction. It asks whether a creator is responsible for the use of their creation and explores the tragic irony of a man who uses his love for beauty and precision to facilitate the birth of a monster. Masaki Suda's performance captures the agonizing transition from a naive scholar to a man burdened by the weight of the future. By the time the credits roll, the audience is left with a profound sense of loss, realizing that while Kai's math was flawless, the human variables of pride and nationalism are forces that no formula can ever truly solve. It is a masterpiece of historical reimagining that speaks as loudly to the present as it does to the past, reminding us that the most dangerous weapons are often those forged in the quiet rooms of planners and architects.